Hello, Sydneys. I don't know if it's just me, man, but I cannot stop thinking about Scream 6. Literally, I am eating up every little tidbit that comes up online. I try to contain myself because I don't want to end up getting spoiled, and the closer we get to this movie's release, the more riskier it gets. But nonetheless, man, we have a whole bunch of new Scream 6 TV spots to look at. I'll be diving into the Super Bowl trailer and a couple of other ones that they've released with extra tidbits of footage for us to just salivate all over. But kind of the biggest thing so far, they have dropped a couple of new posters for Scream 6, some that have been major improvements from what they started with. I was so disappointed whenever they popped this out on us. I was like, really? If you're gonna give us a floating head poster, can it be something better than this? Scream was kind of built on floating head posters, so what are you giving me this for? But they have turned it around greatly ever since that poster drop. I don't know who's the one making the decisions of what posters or not are approved, but so far they have been absolute bangers. But the latest one they revealed gives us some major details and clues to plot points we didn't know about before in Scream 6, maybe giving us an idea of the motive behind this Ghostface, if not answering a few questions that were leaving us puzzled. So I'm gonna need you Scream 6 fans to give me your opinions down below with everything we discuss here today. Are you continuing to get hyped for this movie? Along with please leaving me your thoughts and theories on what we discuss here today, whether you agree or disagree. That's what makes this whole thing fun. Alright, so before we kind of dive into the footage, let's go through some of these posters that they've released. Now, some of these have just been really cool and clever touches into the Scream world, like this one inspired by the game Clue. Really gives us an idea of who our main suspects in this movie should be. I am going to be laughing my butt off if it's none of these characters ended up being one of the ghost faces, but still such a clever idea. Then from there, we just got a whole bunch of just really sweet looking posters that I would definitely hang up on my wall. I like this one of these over city shots with just Ghostface making out the silhouette. This one over here that just makes me want to scream, "Red lights!" Even the most recent one with Ghostface's knife stabbing into an apple. I mean, the Big Apple. We know that's another name for New York. That's where the movie takes place. You didn't need me to explain that, right? But I did it anyways. All sweet, cool, and fine, but let's get talking about the Peace Day Resistance, because once I laid my eyes on this beautiful, spectacular freaking poster, I knew this was gonna definitely be the Scream 6 poster I wanted hanging up on my wall. I love everything about this, just the vibe, the colors. It gives me that feel of a classic movie poster, one that you don't really see too often, because nowadays movie studios treat posters like thumbnails on YouTube videos, okay? It's also worth noting that this is going to be the poster they give out to fans who buy tickets to the fan screening for Scream 6. That's the one that they're holding in 3D on March 9th. But when actually diving into the details of this poster, it reveals so much for us. For one, I really want to go ahead and appreciate all the little hidden ghost faces they got here. At first, I thought there was a total of maybe 6 ghost faces, but people have found up to 10 to 11 ghost faces hidden in this poster. They're all over the place, and that really just goes into that little teaser trailer they revealed to us. It is coming up close to Halloween Day in this movie, so you're gonna have people dressing up like Ghostface everywhere, which I think just makes this movie so much more fun and exciting. But if we want to look at some of the things that the billboard is revealing to us, we have some things that we've already known about the movie, like one, the Blackmore University College. That's where all our survivors from the last movie are currently attending college. We've even seen Chad's character wear a hoodie with the name of the university. We also got a shout out to Gail's morning talk show, Good Morning with Gail Weathers. And one interesting piece I don't see a lot of people talk about here is the New York Halloween parade that is 5 days away. To me, I feel like that's a key part of information right there, that maybe this movie would take place over the span of 5 days, or at least we're going to be 5 days away from Halloween once this movie starts, and maybe just a giant parade of people in costume can play a big part into this movie, and maybe how this Ghostface plans to escape by the end of everything. Just imagine disappearing into a crowd with like 10 to 20% of them wearing Ghostface masks. It's going to be hard to find that killer. Then we move on to the next interesting piece here with the Stab musical. Now, this could just be a funny little gag, something that they threw on the poster just because it's like, well, we got Stab movies, why wouldn't there be a Stab musical? But I feel like this is revealing a key piece of information and gives us the answer to something we were all like, what's going on here? I feel this Stab musical must be directly linked to the shrine that we see in the Scream trailers. I've seen so many fans bring up that, oh man, whoever Ghostface is, they must be a cop. They must have some sort of inside connection with the police to get all that evidence wrapped up into one room and then just have it for themselves to collect. I'm still of the opinion that this is part of some sort of public event where you can buy tickets and then people can stare at all this stuff that was part of real life crimes in their universe. Now with having the Stab stab musical part of this movie, that makes me feel like this shrine is directly linked to this musical. They could have opened up this public event to sort of start the promotion, give people a buzz, and like, oh, look at all these props we're about to use in the musical. It's going to be really authentic because we got some real stuff that Ghostface has used to actually kill people. Isn't this going to make a great show? Which again, I think goes into one of the possible motives of this Ghostface, a person who's obsessed with true crime. Not necessarily the stab movies, but someone obsessed with the real life people, or someone who despises the obsession society has with real life crime. Like maybe a relative of a victim from a past Ghostface. But now to me, this brings us to our biggest clue, our biggest conundrum. What the heck is going on? You can see here news reports going on of them letting us know that the McKenzie family has been murdered in a series of stabbings. It's put twice on the poster, one up here and one down here, making me feel like this must be a vital part of the movie or a key point of the film, or else why put it on there twice and let us see it? Now, the McKenzie name has been a subtle name in the Scream franchise. For one, it was said early on in the very first Scream movie, whenever Casey Becker's parents came home and they didn't know where their daughter was, the husband says, go to the McKenzie's house and call the police.
Get in the car. Drive down to the McKenzies.
Then years later, when Scream 5 came out, Radio Silence kind of wanted to pay homage to the McKenzie name and give that to one of the characters, Liv. It was never really confirmed if it was a coincidence that she was just named McKenzie or she's an actual blood relative of the people who live next to Casey Becker. And now bringing us here to Scream 6, it's been heavily theorized that Samara Weaving's character of Laura, who we don't know too much about and only get small glimpses of in the trailer, is maybe a sister or relative to Liv McKenzie, since they kind of look alike. That and the fact people think she's going to be the opening kill of the movie, which I agree with. I do think she's going to be part of the opening kill. She must be one of the very first people murdered, and here we go. We have Scream 6 early on reporting about it, but why do they say the family has been murdered? If it's just Laura getting stabbed in an alley in New York, why would they say the entire family has been murdered? It also makes you go like, what is even the significance of a McKenzie? They've never been a large part of the series before. It's literally just kind of like a background name that you've forgotten. I guess there's more to it than that. I really don't want this to be another situation where Ghostface is revealed to be another copycat killer. Something like in Scream 2, wherever the killer was just killing people that had resembling names to people from the first movie. So now this person is trying to recreate the events of Scream 5 and, you know, kill off McKenzie, then kill off other people with similar names. I don't know. It really makes your head scratch, but that's something to think about, y'all. McKenzie's gonna be important? Or it's a giant coincidence. But now getting on some of the newer TV spots that have landed online, it is so cool to just see newer little bits of this movie because I feel like they're hiding a lot from us. If you want to go ahead and take a look at all the different ones that have been released, because there's about like 7 in total, I'm going to leave a link down below of a Scream fan who did a whole Twitter thread of all of them, so they're nice and neat in one location for you. And you can tell Paramount, Spyglass, and the whole creative team are trying really hard to keep everything under wraps this time. You got to think about when Scream 5 was coming out, we knew way too much about that movie before it was being released. We've even had viewer Annan, who's been a very reliable source with Scream News, come out and say that Paramount has used CGI to cover up some spoilers in the recent TV spots. He says when you're watching the TV spots, there's a scene in there where Ghostface is unmasked, but Paramount went in CGI to mask over his face. That way it's not revealed who it was. I'm thinking the exact scene he's talking about is here where Tara is hanging off the balcony and you can see Ghostface is right there waiting for her to fall so he can slice her up. I'm thinking by that point they have revealed who Ghostface is and we have the person, he or she, staring up at Tara saying, drop down, little lady. But that's also not the only spot they have used some sort of CGI or trickery to get the audiences on their feet and not know exactly what's going to go down. If we look at like the Super Bowl TV spot where they give us an extended look at the ladder sequence that, yeah, is a big selling point, and I'm glad they made that a large part of their Super Bowl trailer. If you look at the first trailer we got and compare it to the Super Bowl one, you can see they have CGI'd some things in the background. They want you to believe that maybe it's Mindy in the very last place about to be taken down by Ghostface, but in earlier trailers it was Anika's character who was shown in last place and was about to be taken down. It'd be really interesting if this is actually a scene where Ghostface reveals himself. That would be something new for the movie. Ghostface gets revealed halfway into the film. That's something I'm starting to wonder if they're willing to do here, especially if we have like like 3 or 4 or more ghost faces. We've never really had a ghost face that gets revealed early on, but then without the context of who they're partnered with or why they're doing it, that one reveal doesn't mean anything because you still have other ghost faces running around. This is where I want to talk about this one shot in a TV spot that we've gotten of a ghost face mask laying on the ground. It is morning day. You can see police cars are out there from the scene of the crime. Now this could be anywhere in the movie. It could be literally the final act, the first act, the second act. I've seen some people theorize that the ghost face from the convenience store is going to end up getting killed, and that mask on the floor is kind of like the ending of that sequence, and they still have to figure out who the other ghost faces are. I go back to my parade theory I was talking about earlier. You know, what if a ghost face gets away in a crowd, Halloween day, people everywhere, and he just drops that mask on the floor, and then Sam finds it the next morning when the parade is all over, seeing a trace that the killer got away and that she's got to hunt him down. It's just kind of an iconic shot that can mean so many different things. You know, why is a mask left there in broad daylight with police everywhere? I'll be honest, I was kind of on the Tara is the mastermind train. I believe that it would be such a crazy epic reveal. I would also want her to be a ghost face that gets away and have a large part in Scream 7. But the more footage I see of her just in distraught, of her crying, of her just all sweated out in that shrine location, I'm just like, maybe she's not the mastermind. If she is, man, she's a damn good mastermind actor. But really, this is where I throw it off to you guys. We've seen some of this new footage. We've dissected it. We are still pretty much at a loss, not exactly knowing who it's going to be. I want to know what you guys think of some of these details from the poster and the new TV spots. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at 3C Films or on TikTok at 3C Films. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.